Have you ever felt like life is slipping through your fingers? We often treat the present moment as a stepping stone, a means to an end, rather than a destination in itself. But what if the present moment is the gateway to peace, joy, and true fulfillment? This exploration into the power of now by Eckhart Tolle invites you to embark on a journey of self-discovery. We'll uncover the illusions that cloud our minds and prevent us from experiencing the fullness of life. Learn to break free from past regrets and future anxieties, stepping into the vibrant aliveness of now. Unlock a new dimension of existence where happiness is an ever-present reality. This is the power of now. Think about your current state of mind. Are you truly here, fully present in this moment? Or are your thoughts racing, pulling you back into the past or propelling you into the future? For many of us, our minds are like time machines, constantly replaying past events or anxiously anticipating what's to come. This incessant mental chatter, this preoccupation with the past and future, is what Eckhart Tolle refers to as psychological time. It's the illusion that we are separate from this present moment, lost in the labyrinth of our own minds. We identify with our past experiences, carrying them with us like heavy baggage. We project our fears and desires onto the future, creating a breeding ground for anxiety and uncertainty. But here's the liberating truth. The past is gone, the future is yet to come, and the only reality is the present moment. By recognizing the illusion of psychological time, we can begin to loosen its grip on our minds, awaken to the peace that resides within us. The power of now lies in its simplicity and profundity. It's about shifting our focus from the incessant chatter of our minds to the immediacy of our senses, to the aliveness of this present moment. When we are fully present, we are no longer lost in regrets, worries, or daydreams. Instead, we become fully immersed in the richness of our experience, noticing the subtle nuances of our surroundings. This state of presence is not about emptying our minds or suppressing our thoughts. Rather, it's about observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment. As we cultivate this practice of mindfulness, we begin to experience a sense of peace and contentment that arises from within. This journey into the power of now is an invitation to reconnect with our true selves, embrace the fullness of life as it unfolds in the here and now. Imagine your mind as a sophisticated time machine, capable of transporting you to the farthest reaches of the past, or catapulting you into the imagined landscapes of the future. It's a powerful tool, capable of reliving cherished memories and planning for what's to come. But like any powerful tool, it can also become a source of suffering when misused. Instead of using our time-traveling abilities to enrich our present experience, we often get stuck in the past, haunted by regrets, mistakes, and missed opportunities. The past is gone, yet we cling to it as if it were a life raft in a stormy sea. We replay old conversations in our heads, fueling the flames of anger and resentment. We romanticize bygone eras, forgetting that even then, the present moment was all we truly had. This dwelling on the past prevents us from fully embracing the present moment. It keeps us trapped in a cycle of suffering, preventing us from experiencing the joy, peace, and freedom that come with being fully present. The past, while a valuable source of lessons and experiences, can also become a tyrannical ruler if we allow it to dictate our present reality. We carry the weight of past hurts, disappointments, and failures like heavy chains, weighing us down. Each time we revisit a painful memory, we re-experience the pain, reinforcing the illusion that the past is still happening. This cycle of reliving past pain can be particularly insidious when it comes to traumatic experiences. Traumas create deep grooves of fear, anxiety, and even shame. We may find ourselves constantly on guard, bracing for the next blow, even when there is no imminent threat. This hypervigilance keeps us locked in a state of fear and stress. The key to breaking free from the tyranny of the past is to acknowledge it with compassion and understanding. Recognize that it no longer holds power over us in the present moment. Just as the past can keep us tethered to suffering, the future, with its allure of possibilities and potential pitfalls, can also become a source of anxiety and unease. Our minds race ahead, trying to anticipate every possible outcome, strategizing and planning for events that may or may not come to pass. We worry about our finances, relationships, health, and careers, creating elaborate scenarios in our minds. We chase after goals with such fervor that we forget to enjoy the journey. The future, like a mirage in the desert, promises fulfillment but often leaves us feeling empty and dissatisfied. This constant preoccupation with the future robs us of the present moment. It keeps us trapped in a cycle of striving and yearning, never fully experiencing the peace and contentment that come from being present with what is. Escaping the time trap, the incessant pull of the past and the anxious anticipation of the future, is not about stopping our thoughts or trying to live in a perpetual state of bliss. Our minds are designed to think, to plan, to remember. It's what they do. The key is to become aware of our thoughts, to observe them without judgment, and to gently guide our attention back to the present moment. This practice of mindfulness is an ongoing journey, a continual process of noticing when our minds have wandered and gently guiding them back to the here and now. It's about recognizing that the present moment is all we truly have and choosing to embrace it fully. As we become more adept at recognizing and disengaging from the time trap, we begin to experience a profound shift in our perception. We develop a greater sense of peace, contentment, and even joy, not because our circumstances have changed, but because we have learned to meet life in the only place it truly exists, the present moment. Imagine stepping out of the time machine of your mind and into the vibrant landscape of the present moment. The air feels different here, alive with possibility. The colors seem brighter, the sounds crisper. This is the power of presence, fully inhabiting your being right here, right now. In this space, there's no need to strive or prove anything. The present moment simply is, offering peace and liberation. One of the greatest gifts we can offer ourselves and others is the gift of unconditional presence. In a world that often feels rushed, distracted, and driven by external validation, the simple act of showing up fully for ourselves and for those around us can be profoundly transformative. It means putting down our phones, silencing the inner critic, and truly listening to ourselves, to others, and to the whispers of our own hearts. Unconditional presence requires a willingness to be present with whatever arises, without judgment or resistance. It's about meeting ourselves and others with compassion and understanding, even in the midst of difficult emotions or challenging circumstances. When we cultivate this quality of presence in our relationships, we create a space of deep connection and intimacy. This practice of presence extends beyond our personal relationships to encompass our interactions with the world around us. It's about bringing a mindful awareness to our everyday activities. When we approach life with this sense of presence, even the most mundane tasks can become opportunities for joy, connection, and self-discovery. In our modern lives, stillness feels like an elusive luxury. Our days are filled with constant stimuli, emails, notifications, deadlines, yet in the stillness, the true power of presence can be accessed. Cultivating stillness is about creating space for ourselves. It's about simply being without the need to do or achieve. Much of our suffering, as Eckhart Tolle teaches, stems from our identification with the ego, the voice in our heads that constantly judges, compares, and seeks validation from the outside world. This ego-driven mind is addicted to negativity, dwelling on past hurts, anticipating future anxieties, and perpetually seeking something outside of ourselves to make us feel whole and complete. The power of presence offers a way out of this cycle of suffering. By bringing our awareness to the present moment, we begin to disidentify from the ego and its limiting beliefs. We learn to observe our thoughts and emotions with detachment, recognizing that they are not who we are but simply transient states of being. This process of disidentification is not about suppressing our emotions or pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It's about meeting ourselves with compassion and understanding, acknowledging our pain without allowing it to define us. As we cultivate this practice of present moment awareness, we begin to experience a sense of peace and freedom that arises from within, independent of external circumstances. Beneath societal expectations and self-imposed limitations lies a wellspring of joy, peace, and unconditional love. This is our true nature, always present, regardless of our external circumstances. It's about accessing the joy of being, the inherent state of peace and contentment. We notice the intricate beauty of a flower, the warmth of the sun, the simple pleasure of a shared laugh, the joy of simply being. The ego, in the context of Eckhart Tolle's teachings, is not about arrogance or self-importance in the conventional sense. Instead, it refers to a fabricated sense of self, a mental construct that we create through our thoughts, beliefs, and experiences. Imagine the ego as a master storyteller, weaving intricate tales about who we are, where we've been, and where we need to go. This story, however, is often based on fear, limitation, and a deep sense of separation from our true nature. The ego thrives on identification with the past and future, constantly replaying old stories of hurt, regret, and resentment, while simultaneously projecting anxieties and insecurities onto the yet-to-be-written chapters of our lives. It's like carrying around a heavy suitcase filled with the baggage of past experiences, preventing us from fully embracing the lightness and freedom of the present moment. This ego-driven narrative becomes so ingrained in our sense of self that we mistake it for who we truly are. We become trapped in a cycle of seeking external validation, striving for achievements, and accumulating possessions, all in an attempt to solidify this fragile sense of self. Section 2. The ego's hunger for more. The ego, by its very nature, is never satisfied. It's like a bottomless pit, constantly craving more possessions, more achievements, more recognition, more control. This insatiable hunger stems from a deep-seated belief that we are somehow incomplete, lacking, or unworthy as we are. We chase after external validation as a way to fill this perceived void within, believing that if we just achieve that next goal, acquire that coveted possession, or receive that promotion, then we will finally feel whole and complete. However, this pursuit of happiness through external means is ultimately futile because the ego's hunger is insatiable. No matter how much we achieve or acquire, there will always be another goalpost, another desire, another void to fill. This relentless pursuit of more keeps us trapped in a cycle of striving and dissatisfaction, preventing us from experiencing the peace and contentment that come from simply being present with what is. We become so focused on what we lack that we fail to appreciate the abundance that already exists in our lives. Section 3. Trapped in the comparison game. The ego traps us in a never-ending game of comparison. It measures us against others, judging our worth based on external standards. We scroll through social media, feeling inadequate and envious. This creates insecurity, self-doubt, and unworthiness. We believe we are not good enough, fueling self-criticism. Comparison is a trap that leads to suffering. Each of us is unique, with our own strengths and challenges. Embrace your unique path to discover your true potential. Section 4. Seeking validation outside ourselves. The ego seeks validation outside of itself, craving recognition and approval to bolster its fragile sense of self. This need can manifest in seeking approval from authority figures and attention from others. We may go to great lengths to please others, even at the expense of our own needs. The key is to cultivate a deep sense of self-worth from within. Section 5. The ego's fear of dissolution. The ego, despite its seemingly powerful grip on our thoughts and behaviors, is ultimately a fragile and transient construct. It is terrified of death, not necessarily physical death, but the death of its perceived self-importance, its carefully constructed identity. This fear of dissolution drives the ego to cling even more tightly to its limiting beliefs, its patterns of negativity, and its incessant need for control. Any attempt to challenge the ego's authority or to dismantle its carefully constructed sense of self is met with fierce resistance. We may experience this resistance in the form of negative thoughts, uncomfortable emotions, or even physical sensations. This is the ego's way of protecting itself, of maintaining its illusion of control. The key to transcending the ego's grip is not to engage in a battle of wills, but to simply observe it with detachment, recognizing that its thoughts and fears are not who we truly are. As we cultivate present moment awareness, we begin to disidentify from the ego and its limiting beliefs, creating space for our true nature to emerge. Section 6. Transcending the ego's grip. Transcending the ego's grip is not about eradicating the ego entirely, for it serves a purpose in navigating the practicalities of daily life. It's about shifting our relationship with the ego, recognizing that it is not the master of our being, but simply a tool that we can choose to use or not use. This process of transcendence requires a willingness to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, to meet ourselves with compassion and understanding, and to cultivate a deep sense of presence in our lives. As we practice mindfulness, we begin to notice the ego's patterns of negativity and reactivity, allowing us to choose a different path. This journey of self-discovery is an ongoing process, a continual unfolding of awareness and awakening. It's about recognizing that we are not our thoughts, our emotions, or our past experiences. We are so much more than the stories our egos tell us. We are the awareness that witnesses those stories, the stillness that lies beneath the surface of the mind, the boundless love and potential that reside within each and every one of us. Section 1. The Pain Body. A reservoir of unreleased emotions. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with unresolved emotions, past hurts, traumas, disappointments, and fears. This is the pain body, a term by Eckhart Tolle describing unexpressed emotional pain we carry. It's a reservoir of negative energy, waiting to be triggered and released. The pain body is a universal human experience, shaped by our histories and societal conditioning. Recognizing the pain body's grip is the first step towards healing. Observe thoughts and emotions with honesty and compassion. The pain body often disguises itself, operating beneath our awareness. It may manifest as sudden anger, overwhelming sadness, or anxiety. Physical symptoms like chronic pain or insomnia may also appear. Pay attention to moments when you feel triggered or overwhelmed. Identify the thoughts and emotions being activated. Awareness empowers us to choose a different response, create space for healing and transformation. The pain body, despite its negative impact, is not our enemy. It's a part of us seeking to be heard and healed. Like a wounded child, it yearns for attention and love. Create a safe space for its expression through journaling or creative pursuits. Allow yourself to feel emotions fully without judgment. This dismantles its power, opening us to healing and transformation. Disarm the pain body through presence. Be fully present, shifting attention from past and future to now. The pain body thrives on identification with thoughts and emotions. It wants us to believe our suffering defines us. Presence helps us disidentify from the pain body, acknowledge its existence without judgment, meet it with calm presence, and its grip loosens. Section 5. Embracing the healing power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about condoning actions but releasing the past's grip on us. It's an act of self-love, freeing us from resentment and anger. Forgiveness begins with self-compassion and understanding. We create space for healing and transformation. In forgiveness we find true liberation and an open heart. Section 1. Mindfulness in motion. In the whirlwind of our daily lives, mindfulness might seem like a luxury, but mindfulness can be practiced anywhere, anytime. It's about bringing conscious awareness to our daily tasks. Start by noticing the simple act of breathing. Take moments to pause and focus on your breath. This can anchor you in the present, easing stress. Section 2. Cultivating present moment awareness. Our minds often wander, lost in past thoughts or future anxieties. Physically present but mentally miles away. Recognize when your mind wanders and gently return to the present. Develop a compassionate observer within. Witness thoughts and emotions without judgment. Set reminders to check in with yourself. Use cues to pause and reconnect with the present moment. Simple check-ins interrupt autopilot mode, bringing us back to our experience. Section 3. Integrating mindfulness into daily rituals. Integrate mindfulness into daily routines and rituals. Transform mundane tasks into mindful practices. Turn your morning routine into a mindful ritual. Dedicate extra moments to connect with yourself. Savor a cup of tea or coffee without distractions. Practice gentle stretches or yoga poses. Infuse mindfulness into your daily routine. Take mindful breaths before checking email. Practice gratitude while waiting in line. Engage in walking meditation during lunch. Create space for presence and peace amidst the hustle. Experience the world with renewed wonder and joy. Section 1. The essence of now. True peace, joy, and fulfillment reside not in the past or future, but in the present moment. The past is gone and the future remains uncertain. Life unfolds in the here and now. This realization transforms our relationship with ourselves and the world. Section 2. Freedom from suffering. Much of our suffering stems from our identification with the ego, the voice in our heads that constantly judges and seeks validation. This ego-driven mind keeps us tethered to the past and anxiously anticipating the future. In the present moment, we find refuge from the ego's tyranny. We recognize that we are not our thoughts or emotions, we are the awareness that witnesses them. This shift in perception is a profound awakening, a liberation from suffering. Section 3. A call to presence. The journey into the power of now is an ongoing exploration, awakening to the sacredness of this moment. It is a call to presence, an invitation to embrace the fullness of our experience and discover profound peace, joy, and love. This practice is a conscious choice, a moment-to-moment commitment to awareness. Cultivate a deeper connection to the present moment, unlocking the transformative power of now.